Hey, it's Bill, and this is episode number 70 of Three Questions and a Song, the podcast where the name says it all, except for when it doesn't, which is all the time because it's never just three questions. With me tonight is Jesse Stone Creechman. What's up, Jesse?
Hey, Bill. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, thanks for
So,
having me.
my first question off the bat is: are you in Montreal right now?
I am. It's a cold, windy evening. I'm at a studio right now. We're rehearsing for a show next week.
Very cool. So this is not a three questions official question, but best goaltender to come out of Montreal or out of that area.
Oh, I think I'm a big fan of Carey Price right now, and Patrick Roy back in the day, I obviously Brodeur.
Brodeur.
I mean, we've had so many amazing goalies come out of Quebec. It's kind of it's a satire at this point. But,
I used to play ball hockey, and I wore the number 33 for two reasons: Patrick and Manon.
There you go. Right on.
But I would throw Fleury into that list, although I know he's not a fan favorite in his hometown. But being here in Pittsburgh, he won 376 games here in the city, so I have to put him in that list.
Yeah, well, that's it. You can't argue with the record.
But all right, so let's start off with one of my off the wall questions. So you have a chance to sit down with a musical idol, okay, anyone in the history of the world. Who are you going to sit down with? And here's where it gets difficult. You can only ask one question. What would you ask them?
Only one question?
Only one.
I mean, like, say I was gonna sit down with Dylan, for example, I'd probably ask him to sing me Desolation Row. It's like an 11-minute song, so I don't think he does it too often. When they did it, I heard when they did it in studio, I think he had to sing it 3 times in a row, and that's like a half an hour of singing. It's like 11-verse song or something. That's one of my favorite songs of all time. Come on, that's a crazy question. But that's good. Keep them coming.
I mean, if you want to go crazy, I can go crazier.
As you want. This is your show.
All right, so there's an apocalyptic event, and only a handful of humans survive. One song from every band or artist survives also. Which one of your songs survives and helps repopulate the earth?
Well, I look at my songs as my children, so I kind of feel like so now I have to, you write a song and kind of record it and you set them out into the world and you watch them grow. My brother said that this song "No Guarantee" on my new album. He said it's the best song I ever wrote. It was one of the nicest things he ever said. And it's a song for me. It meant a lot because I'd been pushing it pretty hard, like touring pretty actively, and when you're like playing in bars and 4 or 5 nights out of the week, and they're paying you in booze in some cases. I was never even had a big taste for it, but it all got too much, and studio too. It was like recording, and there's all kinds of stuff going on. And I decided halfway through recording this record to just kind of let that all go and get sober. And I think it's the reason I was able to finish the record, because I spent a few years on it. So "No Guarantee" was kind of when you're in AA, after people have been there for a while, they'll often give a share, where they tell their story, or they have people come to the meeting, right? And there's a share, and there's somebody, and they're going through what happened to them and how they use the program to get sober. And I never made a share, so when I wrote No Guarantee, it was kind of my share. It meant a lot to me. And then my brother said that. So I'll give it No Guarantee, best foot forward. Something to think about.
So I listened to your song Pennsylvania, and I read what you sent me, the short description, and I'm going to jump ahead a little and let you tell us about the song because I have some questions.
Pennsylvania was written during a chaotic period in my life. I felt like there was a lot of chaos for a while, and this past, like, my 20s, kind of me trying to find a balance, and oh shoot, what was your question again? Sorry.
Just tell me a story about Pennsylvania.
Oh, just tell you a story about Pennsylvania. Yeah, sorry. Well, Pennsylvania, I mean, it's like, based off of true events. I was in New York, and I split up, separated with my wife, and I had nowhere to go because I wasn't going home. And I slept in Washington Square Park for a couple nights, and then I ran into some people I know, because in New York it's like 6 degrees of separation. You run into people all the time, even though it's such a big city. And they invited me to shoot a film out in Pennsylvania, so I spent the summer out there, and I got into a little bit of trouble, I guess. It was all right though. It was all right. It was worth the song, that's for sure.
I'm thinking from the places that you mentioned in the song that you were on the eastern side of the state, which is the opposite of where I am. I'm on the west.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and, we weren't close to Pittsburgh, I don't think.
I'm going to tell you that you probably would have had a better time had you come this way.
Yeah. Well, no doubts. I've never been to Pittsburgh. I think we were closer to Philly.
Philly, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not like super hip on the geography, actually. But I was in Lancaster County.
So you were Strasburg. So yeah. There are a lot of Amish in that area, correct?
Yeah. It was something to see. It was like I felt like I landed in the movie Witness. Yeah, they would come to the hotel and they'd barter with spices to use the pool, the in-ground pool. It was something else.
I am on this end in the Pittsburgh area. We don't see them often, and this is going to sound very stereotypical, but usually when we see them, they are building roofs or houses, or they do a lot of construction work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't see them building any houses, but I've heard, and I think I actually saw this in the movie Witness, which it's a great movie. I've watched it many times. How there's kind of they come together as a community to build. There's a scene in the film where they put a house together up basically in a day. Like 100 people show up, and
you see them raise the wall, the complete frame.
Yeah, it's cool. It's something else.
I'm not saying there aren't ways to get in trouble here too, but you were close to the Flyers, and
yeah, I guess so.
And anything near the Flyers is going to be bad.
They should put a warning sign on the highway. A warning sign.
All right, so I'll tell you what. We'll take a quick break right here. We'll listen to Pennsylvania by Jesse Stone Creechman, and we will be right back. And for those of you that are tuned in live, you're not going to get to hear that song right now. But when this goes live on the 15th, which is just 4 days away, it'll be on buildascene.com. It'll be on our radio station, also be on rootarooradio.com. You'll be able to hear the song. But we're going to come in as if we listen to it. And I'm going to ask some more crazy questions because we have lots of time. All right, so that was Pennsylvania by Jesse Stone Creechman, who is with me tonight, coming from Montreal. In case you were wondering, he does like Patrick Waugh, and I had to add Fleury to his list if you just tuned in. right, so off the wall questions. You can play with any musician in the history of the world, and you can play that gig at any venue, and it doesn't have to be a place that is a normal venue. Like Kiss has played in the ocean to the sharks, and Metallica is played in Antarctica. You can pick anywhere in the world. Where are you going to want to play, and who are you going to play with?
I'm playing with Johnny Cash at Folsom Prison.
I just watched Walk the Line yesterday for the
Oh, did
first
you?
time the whole way through. I watched parts of it.
Maybe I was getting some vibes. Maybe there was. Maybe I could tell on some level. Johnny was around. I was gonna say at the Grand Ole Opry, but then I thought, wait a minute, no way. I'm going to prison with Johnny for sure.
Let's say you're out on tour, and for some reason I'm driving your tour bus. What is the soundtrack that we're going to listen to in between stops?
You're in trouble. You're going to hear a lot of Jesse Stone Creechman.
See, I was looking for you to give me some influences without asking for influences.
I see. Well, we got some great Canadian folk country. We got to play country folk rock and roll. It's kind of and if you listen to Neil Young, for example, and even Bryan Adams and like Leonard Cohen and all these. I'm a big Blue Rodeo fan, which I don't know if you know Blue Rodeo, but they're like a kind of roots rock band from Canada. This is the stuff I grew up on. I also listen to a lot of. I grew up in the '90s, so alternative and Green Day and Offspring and all that stuff. And on the American side, for like singer-songwriters, I guess I was driven towards. Although I like all kinds of music, listen to blues and country and like bluegrass but like for sure. I listened to a ton of John Mellencamp, seen a few times in concert, and CCR and Tom Petty, all these guys. I think like I saw them as like idols in a way. So I gotta go get myself a jean jacket and pick up a guitar.
This next question is take a little bit of an explanation, but who is your Dave Grohl? And by that, I mean, what band would you want to go up on stage with and play one of their originals? Because the Foo Fighters are known for pulling people out of the crowd.
Yeah. What band would I want to play to go up and play one of the originals? Think about it. I'm not sure. It'd have to be the Stones. The Beatles aren't getting back together anytime soon.
No, you wouldn't think.
Although I love to get back the documentary. I haven't finished it, but I keep restarting it. I can't get enough of it because it's surreal to see these guys like they're just kids, like 26 years old. George Harrison, the other guys were like 29, and they're just kids in the studio. It's crazy. It's amazing how much like I can. I feel like I can relate. It's cool, as a musician. But it'd be nice to get on stage with the Stones.
I turned Netflix on with every intention of watching that. Or no, it's on Disney Plus, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Well, I did turn Netflix on with plans of looking for it, but then I saw Knight Rider, and being a kid who grew up in the 80s, I started watching Knight Rider instead.
That's all right. That's the good thing about all this, about the cloud, music. I mean, it's not going anywhere.
That's right.
All that content.
I will get to watch and get back eventually. One of my favorite bios that I played, and I'm gonna censor myself. It is called "Who the F Is This Guy?" And it's actually about the person who found Metallica among other bands, and it's actually a really, really cool look at the music scene from a different approach.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that one was on Netflix. But if you could hang out with any band for a year, and just go out on tour with them and learn from them, and you know have the after parties, and what band are you going to join and just hang out with?
I heard the after parties were pretty wild with the Eagles, but that would be a fun band. That would have been a fun band to tour with. I mean, I'm just naming off some of my favorite bands because, like, when I think about music, it all kind of gets jumbled together in a way. Like I don't really pick favorites. Just hear good songs, that, and there's just so much out there. It's insane, Like lately, I got a Spotify account, and it feeds me. The algorithm knows what I want to hear, and it's just feeding me music, like new music, all the time. I've been going like that for a long time, actually. So,
So you have it trained.
yeah, Well, I mean, no, it's just I have like playlists and playlists of songs. After a while, it's hard to keep track of it all.
So this is a fairly new question to my shows. What is your favorite venue based on what kind of food you ate there before or after a show?
This is the Blueberry. What is it? Blueberry Hill. The Blueberry Hill Bistro. It's just outside of Hawkesbury in Ontario. It's a small little room. Like, I think it's the smallest venue I ever played. It's got like he does. The guy who runs it, Christopher, is from England, and he cooks himself there. And it's like an hour and a half drive from where I used to live. I used to go there on Sundays. I'd play, and he'd serve me a meal, and it'd be like a 4 to 7 kind of gig. And he had a funny mix because I think he spent a lot of time in Asia, so he had all these Asian dishes. But then he mixed it with just like, I don't know, pork chops, and he had this one dish that was shrimp, just swimming in these little pockets of garlic. Shrimp. Tasty. I used to look forward to those gigs just for the food. One time I accidentally ordered the escargot, thinking it was the shrimp. It was still pretty good though.
I can't bring myself to try escargot.
I didn't realize at the time.
How was it? Did you like it?
Yeah, it was delicious. It was just tasted like garlic and butter.
What is a song that you didn't write that you wish you did write? So a song that when you hear it, like, man, I wish I could have done that.
A song that I didn't write that I wish I did write. I have this funny way of looking at. Okay, hold on. Let me think about it for a second. Well, there's a song by Blue Rodeo called 5 Days in May that I've been playing for a long time. I sang it with my. Oh man, forget that. It's a great song, but like anything by Third Eye Blind. The band had, I think it was a self-titled record in the 90s. It had like Semi-Charmed Life. It had How's It Gonna Be. It had, and then every song on the record was fantastic. So that's a record I wish I made. And I wish they were all my songs because I love those songs.
So I gave you an assignment to check out the band State of Mind, which is the next guest. What question did you come up with them?
Yeah, John Ferris. I actually wrote it down because I wanted to. It was good music. It was heavy. It was kind of had an old school metal vibe. I think they called it new classic metal, as they call themselves, and it's because it got this classic metal vibe. It's nice. and it's good songs. They have this new song "Shattered," which I would recommend everyone go check out. They have a new music video for it. And my question was it's kind of for John. This is a little more oriented around lyrics, and there's some darker subject matter. You know, and he even says it at some point about they write songs about their state of mind, and you know, they're writing. He kind of says like it seems like the music and the words are an outlet for dealing with life rather than by hurting yourself. You know, and they seems to have dealt with a lot of loss over the years and death. And so my question was music that something that kept him alive, so to speak, or is it something that he's continued to do in spite of some of the suffering that it may have caused him? Or if there's maybe a middle ground there somewhere. And looking back, would he have, would he have done anything differently?
So the second part to your homework assignment is that you have to listen to their episode to hear the answer to your question.
Perfect. Sounds good.
And speaking of, Jim from Wayward Brigade had a question. I'm going to shorten it here while we're live, but basically he wanted to know how your family influenced your music, if I understood it correctly.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he was a nice guy, and it was. He had some nice things to say. I appreciate him taking the time to go check my stuff out, and he's got some really nice music too. Wayward. It's funny because I'm actually rehearsing right now with my brother and my sister because they're doing backing vocals for the show next week, and when I first started to play music, it was my brother who was singing, you know, and my. The second track on my first record called Promises was written by my father, who picked up the guitar and songwriting after I did. So I guess he saw me do it and he thought, maybe he got it for me. And it turns out I did. So that's pretty cool. It's how's it? I mean, the thing is I've gotten more than anything, like we've supported each other, you know, in music and in different endeavors. My brother's background theater, musical theater. He's a trained actor, and he's an incredible singer. My sister picked up the guitar after, like, kind of out of nowhere at one point and started singing. She said, "Where did this voice come from?" It kept us tight. And for me, I was another thing I was thinking about, because I got the question. You gave me the question in advance. I was thinking, you know, as a writer, what kind of got me started on my writing was looking back on my experiences with my family. I'm from the suburbs. I didn't grow up like on train tracks or in like beat broken towns. It was like pretty plain Jane. But the drama and the action, it kind of came from my experiences with people, and it came with experiences with my family. My folks split up when I was 5, and that was like caused the shift, and it was something hard. It took a long time for me to come to terms with, and it affected, you know, my siblings in different ways. And so as a writer, like, I don't know, like that's where my mind would go when I started writing. I would think about my family. I would think about, you know, the good. I would think about the pain that I, you know, or whatever I could, you know, however related to me at the time. And then when I shared it, when I started writing and I started sharing my songs with my family, my brother was singing at the time. It was like a very it brought everybody together. You know, it was like the first thing that anyone could agree on, that this was a good thing, and everybody was on board with that. So you know, we've continued. My family's continued to support me, and I'm still work with my siblings, and so it's absolutely been a factor in my songwriting and my whole experience in general.
How can the listeners find you online? Like, where's the best place for them to go?
JesseStone.com and at Jesse Stone Music, anywhere on social media. But there's the confusion. My first record was Jesse Stone. Now my next record coming out, it's going to be called Radio's Dead. Comes out January 13th. It's Jesse Stone Creechman.
And how
My songs are also available, on iTunes, on Spotify, and streaming platforms.
What's coming up next for you?
Well, like I said, the album's coming out on the 13th. We've got some more videos that we're going to be putting out, and we'll see where the road leads. We're going to be doing some gigging next year. We're still figuring it out. It's
Oh no. So Jesse warned me ahead of time that his battery was going to die in his phone. And I'm going to guess that that's probably what just happened. Um, we'll give him a moment and see if he comes back in. But that's my guess. We'll see. Well, so what we'll do is I will just mention that you should check him out, jessestone.com. As he said, at Jesse Stone Music to find him on the internet. My name is Bill. This has been episode number 70 of the Pennsylvania. Let me try that again. Number 70 of 3 Questions and a Song. Check us out on the 1st and 15th of each month